Hello and welcome to another episode of the Embodied Union podcast. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Charlie.
And today we're going to be talking about what really is going on in relationship.
We just came back from an amazing training called the Heart Training, which stands for
Hakomi Embodied Aware Relationship Training.
Yeah, and it just took what we, like our work, how we see relationship, or I can speak for myself, it felt like it brought another level of depth and richness to the work that we're doing, and we wanted to kind of unpack some of it with
Where
you
to
guys.
start, really?
Well, I think just what's really going on in relationship is a great place to start. Like when we say that, what we're meaning is like what is really going on when a couple moves into trigger meeting trigger. Because often that's why couples will come and see us and do our program and do therapy. It's because there's something that is looping.
There's some stuckness, right? There's usually some stuckness or something is going on that feels like it's somehow the other, or it's something in me that keeps happening and I really don't want it to, but I can't seem to stop it. It's outside of my, not awareness, but it's outside of my ability.
Usually awareness and control.
Yeah. Really have compassion for that part that's just like, I really want to be different, but I keep doing the same thing.
I think that's why we always say awareness of our stuff is not usually enough to create the change. You know, like I can know that I have a mother wound or a father wound and I know where it came from. But when that flavor of trigger comes along, I'm hijacked again. I'm identified again. I'm bought in again. And then when I'm in my trigger, activate something in you, and like we kind of get it, but it just keeps happening, and that can be such a frustrating place.
You said something then just that was like, it's identified. Can you kind of speak more into what that means or what that is? Because I think
if I am in a trigger and it feels like it is the absolute truth and that Lindsay is a bastard, or he is inconsiderate, or I am not safe, like when it really feels like it's all of me and it's all of him, I'm not curious, I'm just probably in I'm right and you're wrong, then that's what we would we would say that you're identified. You're identified in something, you actually can't quite see out of it. It really feels like the truth.
And I think, like, often to me, that's when a couple or a person can start to have that self-awareness of that, they can really start doing the work on themselves. They can really start to deepen into being curious with themselves. Because I really get that when someone is truly identified and they want to talk about the details about what he did and what she did, and like basically relay just the whole happened, the story, it actually is really unhelpful.
I think this is my own marker. If I am in a trigger, if I know I'm in a trigger and I know I'm identified in a state, if I no longer have curiosity around what is going on, if I am not curious around, hey, I wonder why Lindsay took it that way, or I wonder why he might have done what he did. And like, what is it in me that is having me buy into this? If I can't have that level of curiosity, then I know that I am in something. And if I am in something, that's usually going to be unhelpful to our relationship. Like that's not the time for me to go to Lindsay and tell him how it is, because I'm actually just identified with something that might not necessarily be the truth, but it certainly feels like the truth when you are identified.
So inept.
And often what happens, if I become identified with a state, I will start acting in a particular way. So an example I can give you is I walk out of my bedroom in the morning and Lindsay's clothes are on the floor. And it's the first thing that I see. And then immediately my heart contracts and I start getting fast and I start picking things up and I start buying into this story. Why is it like this? Why do I have to do this? I don't want to be responsible. How annoying. We've talked about this. We've made an agreement about this. And I'm like looping on this and it's impacting my behavior and how I'm being and what I'm thinking. That is me identified in something. And then say Lindsay comes home in the morning from a surf, he walks in the door and he sees me. And he sees me frowning and fast, and I don't really make eye contact with him, and he sees me picking up his stuff. And then that activates something in him. He goes into his own, oh, here we go again. I can't just put my stuff wherever. I can't just come home and pick it up like I was going to do it. I feel like I'm in trouble all the time. He then goes into his state. And then we are...
You're making it a big deal.
Why are you making this a big deal? Like, I just can't get anything right.
Really?
So
Yeah.
this is what happens in relationship over and over again, is one person becomes identified in something that activates the other to be identified in something, and then we loop. And often we end up in relationship with people who seem to activate our stuff, because that is the nature of relationship. It's designed to do this so we can see where we need to grow.
Totally. And it's not, oh, if I picked the right person, this is never going to happen. It's actually, relationship is designed to do this. It's designed to show you what is in the way for you. It's like, you know, it's the triggers. It's those things. You are going to be triggered in relationship.
And I love this. When I hear that relationship is going to challenge me forever, it actually gives me this sense of relief, because if I'm in relationship thinking that there's someone out there for me who would never trigger this, who would pick up their stuff, that I wouldn't have to deal with this, then I'm kind of more resisting what's here and maybe thinking that something is going to be better. And like, that's going to create something awful in our relationship. But if I can really reconcile that relationship is always going to offer me challenges, it's about finding the person where I'm like, this is a challenge that I'm up for, then it lets me kind of settle and be like, you know what? I choose to be here. There are going to be challenges, but the challenges that you bring it. Because there's nobody that's not going to offer you a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, you asked a really great question at the training, like, when it comes to when is it the right time to leave a relationship, knowing that every relationship is going to have challenges, it's when you're looking at the other person and you've really done like some work on it, but you're left with, I'm actually not up for this particular challenge.
Yeah.
This is a challenge that is too strenuous for me. I'm not up for this.
Yeah. And I think that's really powerful for most of us when it comes to this self-inquiry of like, is this the challenge that I'm up for? Is this the kind of challenge that I want to have in relationship? Do I want my relationship to be this challenging or this flavor of challenge? You know?
So we can never answer that question. If a couple says like, should I break up with my partner, or a woman or a man asks that, it's like, we don't know. It's really subjective. Like, again, just to use the example, Lindsay having clothes on the floor, is that a challenge that I could live with for the rest of my life? And it's like, yeah, to be honest, it is. I choose that. You know, we can still have conversations about it. I can still figure out why that gets to me. We can bring awareness to the loop it creates in the relationship. But is that a challenge that I can live with if it never changed? It's like, yeah, yep. And there are some challenge, and for someone else that might not be the case.
Totally get that as well. And that's the beautiful thing when it comes to relationship. You get to choose. You are constantly choosing to be in relationship and choosing what you're learning from it and what you're taking it away. And like, that's where people can fall into victimhood around relationship of like, I've got to change you somehow. Like, it's my job to change you to then make it so it's easier for me to love you. And I think that's a slippery slope. That's a really slippery slope.
I think one of the worst things you can ever do is focus on trying to change your partner. Like, the way that Lindsay and I teach this is, if you are noticing that, okay, we're in trigger meeting trigger, we keep looping on this same thing, I go into this identified state, that activates something in you, and we loop, and it's this stable system that we just getting stuck in. Our work, like what we believe in, is then unpacking what is going on at the individual level. Like, it's not for me to try and make Lindsay be another version of me or do it my way or see it my way. It's like, why does this impact me so much? Like, why do I have a sensitivity here? What is wounded in me that is active, like that is getting activated? Because triggers are not objective. They're completely subjective. One thing could trigger me that would not trigger somebody else. So it's like there's something in me that is having the reaction to this, and I want to understand what that is. And I might go down this beautiful line or frustrating line of self-inquiry, and I might still get to this point where I get clarity that this relationship is not for me or this person is not for me. But more often than not, you actually just get to understand something about your own conditioning and your own wounding, which allows something to soften.
Self-compassion.
It allows self-compassion to come online. It's like, oh my goodness, there's part of me that gets so triggered by the clothes on the floor. It's actually working really hard to keep me safe. It really feels like a noisy environment is too loud and I can't access my peace, and it just really wants everything that's like to get out so I can be deeply peaceful. Like that's what it's actually trying to do. You know, it's like, oh, I can have compassion for that part of me that's working so hard. You know, like we're always wanting to use our triggers to understand at the deepest level what is actually happening for me. And it doesn't mean that I have to tolerate behavior that is shitty. It also doesn't mean I have to stay in a relationship because it's all about me. But we get to use all of our triggers to learn something about self.
Yeah, and what is really going on
What is
underneath.
really going on. And then that is what I get to share with my partner. So this is where we talk about self-revealing, you know. It's like if I'm triggered and I go away and I figure out like what's actually going on, not about you. Yes, you left your clothes on the floor, but what does that do inside of me, okay? Then I get to say to Lindsay, I want to let you in on something. Like when I notice this part of me gets really contracted because it feels like my peace has been stolen. And I know it's not the truth because I don't have to do anything about it, but this part of me really feels responsible. And it's like, I don't want to be like this, but it feels so painful for me. And if I can share with Lindsay with that level of vulnerability and responsibility, you're way more likely to hold it for me and be compassionate and not take it personally or get defensive.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, even the example you use, I'm like, I don't even know if I have any clothes on the floor at the moment, but it doesn't matter because I have in the past, and it's just pick your trigger. Like it could be a coffee cup somewhere. If it's not clothes, it could be the way that I've parked or the way that I breathe or the way that I left something. So it's just like, it's always...
It's just an example.
Exactly. It's always going to be there no matter what. Like that is some part. Like, you know, even in this moment, it's, as you can probably hear, it's like, there could easily be some part of me that wants to defend my position and I want to advocate for myself and speak up for myself or, you know, all those things. And it's like, oh, wow, like I don't actually have to do that because I don't have to convince Charlotte about who I am.
You're a good boy.
I know who I am. I know the man that I am. So it's like, I can so be okay with Charlotte being in her own process about me, and that's okay too. And I think that level of awareness and that skill in relationship is a really powerful, really like worthwhile endeavor to have the skills and really learn.
So we're always looking for, like we call them protector parts. Like when I get triggered, I move into a protector part. That's the part that gets really fast and starts violently cleaning the dishes or is storming around the house or is picking up clothes. It's like, okay, that's my protector that's come online that activates his protector that might then withdraw or collapse or shut down. But we also want to know like what is the deeper, more vulnerable part underneath. Our protectors come online so we don't have to feel something more vulnerable.
Correct.
So we don't have to sit in, I'm not okay, or I'm not safe, or...
A perfect example, I'll give it one for men that might really resonate with this is, if I didn't defend myself right now, when my partner criticized me, so the next time your partner criticizes you about something or picks on you about something that's going on, imagine that you didn't defend yourself and you just let that come in and notice what would happen. Like what part of you would get hurt or feel ashamed or be sad or feel a lot of guilt. It's like we're often defending something that's underneath, but we're so busy in the defense, we lose all curiosity about what we're really trying to protect. And then we aren't able to sort of hold or see or hold space for our partners sharing of just something that's alive for them, you know? And I think, yeah, if you can do that, I think if anyone can sort of hold that, it's pretty amazing.
And it can be a challenge because, as you know, when you're triggered, it's so hot and heavy and fast, and we get hijacked and it feels like it's instantaneous. So it is this muscle that you're learning to flex. That's why the Embodied Union program is so beautiful, because we're with you for 3 months, going over and over and over this skill of like turning that attention around and in so that you can be curious around what is going on inside of me right now. What am I trying to defend? Why am I so sensitive? Oh my goodness. We were given on our training, the teacher challenged us and said the next time that your partner does something or says something that upsets you, you want to say, ouch, my love. Can you please say that again so I can study what just happened inside of me? Ultimately, that's what we want to be doing, you know?
Imagine, like I've tried, it's like say it again is the way that I sort of think it in my head. And I get so quick, like I jump straight into like whatever's going on for me before I even get the awareness or the chance to say, please say that again. Like I want to study myself. I want to study how I contract or how my eyes tighten or how I lose my breath or whatever it might be, because these are all indicators. Our body is indicating, like, I think I still sit on this part of like, you know, we don't want to buy into our feelings. Yeah, but we want to be curious as to about like what is happening for us so we're aware, because I guarantee you, if you're sort of just managing, like a lot of guys are like, oh, you want to be able to like manage yourself and like be stoic all the time. It's like, yeah, to some degree, but it's like you want to be contained and have containment for your emotions and whatnot, but you still want to study them.
Yes.
You still want to actually have some self-inquiry and some self-understanding here.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I want to actually study what's happening so I can understand my state, because when I go to share with Charlotte, it's really important that I know what my state is underneath the words. If I'm resentful or triggered or anxious and I'm then sharing with her, the communication, although it's important, is my state infuses with what I'm communicating, and women can feel it a mile away.
Lindsay can say all the right things, he can use all the I language, he can be vulnerable and responsible, but if he's looking at me with frowny eyes or his tone is whatever, it's like I can't even actually hear what he's saying. It's just like, I feel the state that you're in. You are still blaming me without words.
Yep, there'll still be resistance there. So it's like Jedi level skills of holding space for yourself and having that self-inquiry, self-curiosity to be able to sort of build that capacity or build that sensitivity and awareness. Because to be truthful, and this whole thing around vulnerability as well for men is, to me, the masculine version of vulnerability is honesty. It's just, can I be honest with how I actually am? It's not that I'm going to spill out everywhere, but I'm going to be honest with myself about what is actually going on. So therefore I can be honest with my partner. So
I really like what you said before, because I know there's teachers, mentors, beautiful teachers out there who are speaking to men. Like, there's a fine line between like just like fuck your feelings and get on with it. Mm-hmm. Like, be a man, do what you need to do. Like, yes. And if you're not studying what's happening inside of you, it actually doesn't go anywhere. Like, you might be able to just operate on top of it, but the same flavor of trigger will happen 2 days down the line or a week later or a month later, and the same thing's going to happen inside of you. And again, you just operate on top of it. So I also agree that men don't need to be spilling out their emotions and feeling everything to the depths. Like, men are not hairy women. And I think bringing curiosity to what's happening inside of you is still so important so that you can release yourself from it. It can actually be reconciled and integrated and healed.
Well, there's so much power in that. Like, that's what I sort of see it as. It's a powerful thing to be able to do, to transform what's happening inside to then create it into something. It's the whole thing that men love challenge. So it's like, it's an internal challenge that you get to have. And I think the thing that we haven't touched on yet is that often people are going to their partner to talk about it and process with each other. And sometimes, like we learned at the training, was sometimes your partner is the last person you can go to with this, only because it's like they're too in it with you.
Yeah, the one person that you want to see you and hear you and understand you, it's the last person who can give you what you want if you're both in an identified state.
Yeah.
This is why you need to be going to therapy. You need to be going to men's work. You need women in your life that don't just say, oh, he's a bastard, but that help you be reflective on yourself.
And that is so important, because we've probably all done it at some point in our life where we've had some issue in our relationship and we've gone to our bros, or you've gone to your sisters and you've...
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, and not only have you shared what's going on in the story and
My
get really
version.
lost in this version of your story, it's also diminished the listening of your significant other. You've not intentionally, but like, if you're gossiping about me to your girlfriends and then you stay with me, they're almost like, your girlfriend's like, what are you doing? You know, like, why would you do that? Whereas, can we be responsible and curious with ourselves about what's going on for us, and go and share that with our brothers or with our support people as well?
It's so important. I've had women ask me before, so what are you saying? I can't share with my girlfriends what's happening. I'm like, yes, you can, but make sure that you're not just really sharing from your identified story state to get sympathy, because that doesn't help you. That actually doesn't help you. Like, I want women in my life that are like, want to see the nuance or the whole picture, or can help me be more reflective or more responsible. Like, if I can't see my part, help me see my part, because I choose this man and I choose this relationship. So like, help me see how I can do better, because that's what I have control over. It's also why I think we should really take our like stuff to therapy first and foremost, because the job of the therapist, the job of Lindsay and I, is to be impartial. We are to sit back without bias and be impartial and help you find your answers. We're not here to say, yes, your partner is wrong and you're right and you should leave. It's like, that's actually not our job. So take your stuff to people who can hold an impartial space.
I actually had that yesterday. I was working with a man and he's just like, you're always so impartial. You never buy into my story, you know?
Correct.
It's just like, thank you. I'm doing my job.
That's a good therapist.
That's what we want. And that's, you know, there's another part of me that I work with men predominantly, but I also work with men in their relationship. And sometimes there's that feeling of like, oh, I can't, my partner feels a bit like, oh, about it. And every single woman that's come in that I've worked with as a couple, where I've already worked with the man, I can hold the neutrality of it. Like, it's just like, it's a dynamic that you're in. It's not one person's right and one person's wrong. Mm-mm. It's how is your protectors and your past history and all the things that are happening, your attachment, all of it, all interplaying here. You know, like, I'm just curious. I have so much curiosity for the whole thing and being able to be the observer of that. Because the truth is, as therapists, we're also looking through our lens too. So we have to hold and suspend our own judgment about the world and of our, like, what we're holding in our relationship.
Our own projections.
Totally. So it's just like, that is a lot of the time why a therapist is so valuable for couples. And inside of that too is often, and this is what we learned in the training too, often couples come to see a therapist when there's it's too late. There's the loss of goodwill in the relationship. It's basically, it's gone well past the use by date of the relationship.
Yeah.
And now it's like, and now I need somebody else to confirm my part, my story or my defense or whatever it is. And it's too late. And I'm going to keep saying it. We started seeing a therapist straight away in our relationship because we knew. Like, it's not personal. There's nothing wrong. We're in the honeymoon phase seeing a therapist because we know our stuff's going to come up, and I'm not going to wait for it to rain before I fix the hole in the roof. It's just like not a good idea. It's like, let's build our relationship with our therapist. Let's build our relationship and create that container together.
It's so amazing that we have a therapist that has been working with us since the beginning, that now knows us and knows our parts, knows our protectors, knows our protected parts. And we're about to move into the season of parenting together, not the first time for Lindsay, but our first time. And it's going to be, there will be challenges.
We know there's going to be challenges.
We know it. And we already have this guy on our team who knows us. And I'm so grateful that we've already built this relationship with him. You know, if I could have anyone take anything away from this podcast, it's really to fix the hole before the rain. You said it perfectly.
Yeah. And like, seeing that it's not because something is wrong, it's because we want it to be so good and so right.
Yes.
You know, it's about,
we value it.
Yeah, it's learning the skills, having someone impartial help us with our own parts so we're not identified. Like, so much stuff. We get so stuck in relationship in loops over and over. Like, how many times, you listening right now, how many times have you had that same argument with your partner? It's like, that gets to be not there anymore. If that wasn't there anymore, what would that be like, you know? And I think that's the kind of level of like, oh, it could be so much more spacious. There could be so much more compassion. We'd be so much more in love with each other. And I want that for couples, you know? I'm such a big stand for a relationship.
And for love,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I feel like we're such a big stand for love, you know? And that feels so good.
So yeah, I think
If you're listening, I feel like, and you're like, oh my God, I want this.
Yeah.
I feel like I need you guys to know that even though my baby is due in 2 weeks, our baby is due in 2 weeks, the Embodied Union program doors aren't closing. There'll be a couple of weeks when I go through the birth portal, but it's going to be there. Lindsay's going to be taking the therapeutic lead, and I'll still be there in the background and supporting with the coaching and the Q&As. So if you want to come and walk beside us, and we can really help you like get the nuance of what we're talking about and be in the practice of these skills until they feel like you move from practice to the embodiment of them. Like, this is what we're offering. And it's such a beautiful journey.
It's just, yeah, it's so good to be working together. I mean, Charlotte and I going to do even just the training together recently. It's like, wow, doing it together just means that, like, we could easily go off and do that training separately, but something about doing it together really supports. So it's like, I don't have to come back from it and try and teach my partner my version of what I've learned. It's getting to do a program with your partner. Might be the first time you've actually done something together, and like, how do you both learn together and how do you interact with, you know, learning? But it's just like, gives you something to go towards and together. Like, often I think the thing that people go in together with is like having a family or running a business. And it's like, these are all the skills of like, how do we interplay together when we're working on something together?
It's so true. Like, how many times have you listened to a podcast and been like, babe, can you listen to this podcast? Babe, can you listen to this podcast? Or an audiobook? Babe, I really want you to listen to this audiobook. It's like, doing it together is I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think it offers something really special. And, you know, of course, it's going to bring stuff up. That's the whole design. Like, don't be shocked when you get really triggered in the program, because that's what it's designed to do.
It's exposing what's there and what needs love and compassion.
To be looked at. So, appreciate you, my love.
Appreciate you, sweetheart. You can find us on Instagram.
Lindsay B.
I'm Charlie S. Hannah. And then we have the Embodied Union one as well.
Yeah.
Should we leave that one there?
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Love
Thank
you,
you, my
love.
love.